Ladies and gentlemen, broadcasting to you live from a studio located somewhere in Jupiter, Florida, it's that heavyweight of all heavyweight conservatives,
Well, hello, folks, and welcome to the show. I am, of course, your host, Hush Dimbalb, the purveyor of truth and enlightenment. And, folks, I will be bringing you the only news that you need during the duration of my program. And, folks, most of you know my drill. I am the dentist of democracy. And for the next while, I will be drilling away on the truth. And, of course, trying to make sure there is no truth decay out there. And for my conservative audience, you've got nothing to worry about. Just sit back and relax and enjoy. Cause I've got plenty of laughing gas for you. But on the other hand, to the liberals who just happened by, who stumbled into the office, well, it's gonna be, let's just say this. Liberals, just be prepared to swallow. That's right, no spit, Sherlock. Welcome to the IIB, Ignorance in Broadcasting. And that's right, folks, welcome to the IIB, where I create reality so that you don't have to listen to mainstream media. Liars! Folks, I know it's hard to believe, but I am probably the only one on the face of the earth who's really telling you the truth. The truth. You know that I am the only voice of reason. And folks, we're going to start off today here. I want to know, what do you think about what is going on? Again, it seems as though the liberals are relentless. They are not going to give up on this Russia connection. No, never mind that Clinton went to Russia back in the late 60s. I don't see anybody talking about that. The liberal media won't go near that. They won't touch that. You know, the other day, you were listening, I'm sure, to my show, as you always do, because you know that I always tell the truth. The other day, a listener, someone, I don't know if they were a listener, just somebody called in my show, a liberal, and put forth this notion that perhaps because my name is Hush, that I somehow, that is somehow some cute coding for Rush, and that all along I have been getting paid to brainwash all my listeners, to brainwash you little idiots out there in the sticks, in these little towns all across America, that couldn't find your butt cheeks with both hands if it wasn't for me, at least not politically, if you didn't listen to me, that somehow or another you might be inclined to either not vote or to see the truth as it really is, and all be a bunch of liberals like that could ever be. Yes, because they put forth this whole premise that before I showed up, the mighty God Hush, before I showed up and I was on the airwaves in every single town, that everything was that you weren't blinded by the right. But I came along, folks, and you started listening to me, and then I started giving you all this misinformation, filling your heads with all this nonsense that you're better off when the wealthy have everything, that somehow or another, that you see what I'm saying? This is what they were putting out, that I am the great divider. And because that is the case, because I went into all these little towns where people really had no political bearing, and I've said all these things, and I've got everybody all confused and crossed, and that somehow I have been put up to it that I am a Russian infiltrate. Yes, I am from some sort of a covert Russia brainwashing propaganda god. Yes, and then there were many more, as right-wing talk radio crept into every small town communities, houses, into the stores, into the shops, into the pickup trucks of the construction workers, out there to convince you that what is really in your best interest is in fact really in your worst interest. Yeah, folks, this is the kind of stuff I put up with all the time because these liberals know that I'm right. They know I'm right. Never mind the right-wing conservative agenda. People out there, you know the ones, the dope smoking, the hippies. These people, especially, folks, especially, and you've got to watch them, these college-educated people, if they go off to college, somehow they start to get to knowing their history, they get a little bit of knowledge, and they get confused. And then sometimes they'll come back into the community from which they came, and you don't recognize them. You don't know who they are. You have to ignore them because they are the ones who have really been brainwashed. They will try to tell you things, people, that is so absurd. They will go back and try to tell you that it is because of Nixon. Yes, President Nixon, who opened the doors, who swung open the doors wide to the communist Chinese and opened up the trade agreements which gave them all Americans jobs, gave the jobs to the Chinese, so it brought down the price of things so that people could afford things. That's what he did, but they want people to think that it's because of him that he did it to break the back of the unions. Ha ha! I tell you people, that is exactly why when I say don't pay them any mind. This is why they come up with such ridiculous, absurd notions. And yes, sure, the unions did decline after that because they can't compete with those low, cheap wages, those slave wages over there where people either work or they take them out back and shoot them. Yes, you heard me. And thank God for people like Phil Knight. Yes, who saw the light and saw a way to make money. Yes. I know, that's a dirty word, isn't it? To make money off of the cheap labor that the Chinese people had, and that because of that, a lot of Americans' jobs went bye-bye. Yeah. and then they will tell you, as if Carter never even existed, that the next thing that happened was when we put Reagan in, that he further brought the unions down, diminished. Well, I tell you people, the unions were useless. The unions took advantage of things, and even though we had the highest standard of living of any nation on earth when we had unions, the unions' time had come. And that is why now people work for next to nothing. Yes, there's jobs out there. No thanks to Obama. They would have happened anyway. When have you ever heard of a black man creating any jobs? Unless it was that pizza guy that ran as a Republican. But other than that, it does not happen. And now, thank God, we've got Trump in the White House and jobs are aplenty. And that's why. But people don't make the kind of money they used to make. And that's just fine. As you know, it's not that, as long as we can keep the prices down, keep getting stuff from a communist country like China, it's okay. It's okay, folks. And don't get worried. People out there screaming to raise the minimum wage. Why? Why? You raise minimum wage, you lose jobs. Everybody knows that when people have money in their pocket to spend, that loses jobs. When employers have to pay more, where people can actually have a halfway decent roof over their head, can actually buy something besides just food, that is a job killer. Everybody knows that, but you hear these liberals out here, you think, oh my God, capitalism, like as if they have any affinity for capitalism, capitalism is going to fall on its face if we don't start paying people a decent wage. Well, I say bring the wage down to 10 cents an hour, and everybody will have a job. It's just common sense. And that's why you listen to me. It's not because I'm a commie infiltrate or propagandist put up to it by the communist Russia. No, of course, and that is just the craziness. And they say that I came along to divide America. Oh, really? So I, with the airwaves and the influence of hundreds of radio stations across America, somehow or another, with my show 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, I'm able to divide people. I'm able to convince all you dummies in these little towns with your little pickup trucks and your little barber shops where the radio's on every damn place you go. I'm able to convince you to vote against your own best interest. To vote against your own best interest and to not understand a damn thing. As if you all were complete political imbeciles. Yeah. Tell me another one. We'll be right back. Well, it may be a gloomy and rainy day, but at Fred's Auto, it may as well be a sunny day in July, because we got warm coffee, a friendly and caring staff, and terrific deals on all our cars. If you've been thinking about getting a new car, replacing that old one, put a little sunshine in your rainy day, come on down here to Fred's Automotive and grab one of our friendly and knowledgeable staff and go drive a few of these wonderful cars we got here today. All right, folks, welcome back. Sometimes it just amazes me. Mo was saying, and he is, as a lot of you people know, Mo is my black engineer. And he's been with me for a long time, folks. So much for me being racist. No, folks, because I keep the boy around because he knows what he's doing. And sometimes he surprises me with his insight. And dare I say, intellect. Because, folks, if you remember right before the break, we were talking about how Nixon broke up the unions by being very clever. And first of all, I want to say the reason he wanted to break up the unions was because of the power. All these people that were in unions were basically voting Democrat, which is what Mo wanted me to point that out. And I have to agree that had he not done that, had he not really did a number on the unions, that it's possible. It is possible, folks, and I'm dead serious about this. It is possible we'd have lost the Republican Party. And lo and behold, surprisingly, a lot of people who got hurt in the unions because all of our jobs went to communist China, and this gets better, they ended up voting for Reagan, who further broke up the unions. And it's just a wonderful thing, because if it had not been for that, and let's just say there's only a few unions that are of any strength really left. The food service worker, a lot of these Mexicans, you know what I'm saying. In the food service and all that, these people are going to vote Democrat no matter what. Because they're on the dole, so to speak. They're charity case type oriented. If it's not them, it's their family member. You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. So, yeah, you know what I mean. All right. And then there's, of course, the Postal Union, which I have to really hand it to another Republican president, of course, Bush. For trying, he did. They in the Congress, they all really tried to destroy the Postal Service. Had it not been for packages and had it not been for Amazon, they would have succeeded. Well, they're still working on it, folks. We will try to destroy that union too. Of course, we need that. That's very important. I don't know how many people, you can't underestimate that. And of course, the teachers union. Yes, we not only don't need the teachers union, but quite honestly, I don't think we even need teachers. It's all socialism. It's socialism, people. Okay, now, back to this with Nixon. Not only was he brilliant enough to know, with the help of Henry Kissinger, he'd always talk real low, like, I mean, really, you could barely understand him. I swear to God, the guy, what is he now, 300 years old? Anyway, it's amazing. So, but folks, why that in and of itself? He paved the way. That in and of itself really makes Nixon stand out, makes him probably the best president right there, that by itself. But he also paved the way for Reagan to do what he did. It was Nixon who paved the way, made it a lot easier. But this is where he really gets to number one in my book. And like I was saying, I have to agree with Mo, because while at the same time, he kept the Vietnam War going. He kept it going, and you can see how much that has benefited America, that thank God we did that. And I just have to interject, if it wasn't for that damn cyst I had on my butt, I would have been over there. I would have been the first one. I was so disappointed I could not go to Vietnam. But alas, what do you do? Like I said, I had this cyst on my butt, and so I couldn't do it. But at the same time, Nixon was keeping this war going. We were fighting communism. Yes, we were fighting communism, just like it. We are, we still communist. China is still a communist nation. So that is what was happening. We were fighting there in South Vietnam against the North Vietnamese, who were getting all their funding from the Chinese. that's what we were really fighting. We just had this North Korean buffer between us. And then at the same time, brilliantly, and I've got to say, you would never get this out of some limp-wristed liberal Democrat. At the same time, Nixon swung the doors wide open to communist China, said, sure, we'll fight you. We'll throw everything we got at it. We're going to lose a lot of soldiers, a lot of men. We're going to just destroy the area, but we are going to give you our jobs. How does that sound? We will fight you, and at the same time, we will give you some of the very best jobs that we have. And I tell you, that is something, that is what, and that did, I think that saved the Republican Party. I'm almost sure of it. And now look at China. They've got all our jobs. They ended up, taking good jobs away and really bringing the American worker down to next to nothing. Comparatively speaking, we fell, China rose, and the Republican Party got to stay nice and strong. Like every good American, of course, voted for Reagan. When he came in, he said it's going to be morning again. Patriotism was at its peak because Americans knew we gave our jobs to China under Nixon. A lot of Americans understood it, that it was a Republican president that gave all of our jobs to communist China, kept this war going as long as he could. And those people are the ones who love our soldiers. They're the ones who are so patriotic. That's why, of course, they voted for Reagan. What else could they do? I mean, you've got people. That's why I get so sick and tired of the liberals, because they're just so, they don't get it. They don't get it. And now, thank God, we've got Trump, who, not unlike Nixon, who really gave communist China the biggest smooch he could possibly give them while we were fighting them with the Russians and Putin. It's like, okay, fine. So you're my enemy. So we're not exactly friends. Why not? I give you as much as I can, and because I am a tough Republican, it's okay. Of course, if this had been Obama, isn't that right, Mo? If this had been Obama kissing up to Putin, oh, yeah. Oh, heavens. I shudder. I shudder to think of it. But no, it's a Republican. It's Trump. So it's okay. It's not only okay, now it's fine. In fact, it's not only okay, let's face it, if Trump said today, I want to put Putin, I just want to let him run America. The Republicans, we'd all be going, yes, of course. Just like we did with when Nixon said, hey, we'll just keep fighting the communist Chinese, those awful commies, but we'll give them our jobs. Yes. So, that is why it's so wonderful to be a Republican, and that's only the beginning. That's only the beginning of where we are now, folks, because if Trump will just let the Congress, the stacked Republican Congress and the stacked Republican House, he'll just keep letting them do what they do best, and that is completely gut America's institutions, gut regulations, gut all that. We do not need the EPA. We do not need safe water. We do not need safe, clean air. We do not need clean air. We don't need all these workers' protections, for crying out loud. We don't need it. We don't need it. What we need is to make the people who are already filthy rich even richer. Don't you remember trickle down? Yes, trickle-down economics. That is why Reagan is still held in such high esteem. And this is what we've been fighting for, people, is to just flat gut it all. So there's nothing left to hinder progress. Yes, true progress. Not progressive, limp-wristed social, will help those people who are decimated by all the policies that the Republicans put. No. I'm talking real progress that make the filthy rich even richer, and even as I have been sitting here, the richest family on earth just became a lot richer just while I was talking to you. That, my friends, is the true American way. So as long as Trump stays out of the Republicans' way, of the people who are really doing the masterful work of gutting all the institutions, and he has done a terrific job of installing people who absolutely do not give a rip about all these things that Americans say. The nanny state. Yeah. If we want to keep America safe, people, we do it by building multi-million-dollar war machines. Multi-billion-dollar war machines. We do it by going into other countries and decimating them. That's how you keep America safe. We don't pussyfoot around with water and civil rights and all that. That's just nonsense. That's why that, folks, is what he means when he says he will make America great again, like it used to be. Again, like it was some 300 years ago for the people, for the aristocracy. People who have a ton of money, like me, for example. And of course, I cannot say it enough, what is good for me and what is good for the richest among us and what is really good for corporations in the stock market, that, and only that. And that is what will make America great again. All right, folks, well, we'll be right back after these messages. You want to stay tuned.
Well, there's a question that needs asking. Should have been asked a long time ago. Where would we be?
Where would we be?
Where would we be?
Where would we be?
Without the Hush Dimble Show. 'Cause he'll lead you if you follow. Yeah, he'll feed you if you swallow. But he's no fool. Oh no, he's wise. And he'll make truth out of lies. Yeah, there's a question that needs asking by both friend and foe. Where would we be?
Where would we be?
Where would we be?
Where would we be?
Without the Hush Dimble Show.
This is a good question, no?
I think it's a damn good question.
It's a damn good question.